The ocean holds countless mysteries that not only shape Earth's ecology, but also determine humanity's future destiny. In the 1960s, scientists discovered that the ocean, which controls the pulse of the global climate system, can absorb and store vast amounts of carbon dioxide. When converted into recalcitrant dissolved organic carbon, carbon dioxide can remain deposited in the ocean for centuries. However, the underlying mechanisms remained an unsolved scientific mystery until Chinese scientist Jiao Nianzhi cracked the puzzle. After years of research, in 2010, Jiao announced his groundbreaking findings, the microbial carbon pump theory. According to this theory, vast numbers of single-celled phytoplankton use sunlight and carbon dioxide to produce organic matter. As they grow, they absorb large amounts of carbon dioxide, and when they die, they carry the absorbed carbon into the deep ocean. This continuous transfer of atmospheric carbon dioxide from the surface to the deep sea is called the biological pump. The stronger this collective pump effect, the more carbon dioxide is removed from the atmosphere, mitigating the greenhouse effect. The seed for this scientific discovery actually began in 1991, when Jiao identified his postdoctoral research direction. At the time, he was studying the theory of marine primary productivity, which refers to the rate at which marine plants, mainly phytoplankton, convert carbon dioxide and sunlight into organic matter through photosynthesis. Jiao noticed that ocean regions with identical primary productivity levels could exhibit different production efficiencies, resource capacities, and carbon storage capabilities. Puzzled, he began investigating the deeper implications of marine primary productivity.
Back then, no one in China was researching this, and internationally, only a handful of labs were working on it. But while reading literature in my field, I found it fascinating. I was quite lost. Choosing this path meant no tutorial guidance, not to mention basic research facilities. My lab was in a shipping container. I pieced together some equipment and worked under the most basic conditions.
Through in-depth analysis of the processes and mechanisms of marine primary production, he discovered that identical primary productivity measurements concealed different structural information. This led him to propose the concept of marine primary productivity structure and demonstrate through multiple parameters that microbes, long overlooked in oceanographic studies, were actually the main drivers of primary productivity and carbon cycling. In 1994, his landmark achievement was released in the prestigious English-language Journal of Plankton Research, published by the Oxford University Press. Experts in the field hailed his concept as a major advancement in understanding marine primary productivity, sparking extensive follow-up research. Building on his own discovery, Jiao Nianzhi continued scaling new heights in biological oceanography. And over years of marine research, he participated in numerous international scientific expeditions. The world's most renowned Ocean Time Series observation stations are located in Hawaii and Bermuda. Many fundamental insights into global ocean and climate change originate from these two stations. Scientists working at both stations must master microbiology, marine chemistry, and physics while enduring storms, seasickness, and loneliness, pushing human physical and mental limits. Jiao Nianzhi is one of the few scientists to have worked at both stations. Over 30 years ago, aboard an international research vessel bound for the Bermuda station, he was the sole Chinese scientist and a young scholar in his 30s.
Of course, being invited meant I had some qualifications. Every berth on that expedition was highly coveted. Learning alongside leading scientists of the world was invaluable. On that expedition, I could observe their methods, understanding their breakthroughs, and recognizing where we lagged behind.
But before conducting research, Jiao first had to overcome severe seasickness. From the outset, he vomited violently after every meal. For safety reasons, the expedition leader decided to send him ashore. Yet, as the only Chinese scientist on board, Jiao understood the importance of this mission for China's marine research. He pleaded for more time to adapt.
It's hard to imagine the torment of persistent seasickness. On the first day, I was completely debilitated. I couldn't keep anything down. Eating just made me vomit. By day 7, the expedition leader said, "You've lasted a week. Time to disembark." I begged, "Give me one more day."
Fortunately, calm seas the next day allowed him to stay and complete his mission. Curiosity, courage, ingenuity, and perseverance. These qualities were key to the groundbreaking achievements in biological oceanography made by Jiao Nianzhi.
Here is a personal analogy. If I climb a single mountain, I stop at its summit. But if I see a mountain range, reaching one peak makes me wonder what lies beyond. Similarly, in research, I've always been driven by curiosity.
To build an international scientific force against climate change, in 2019, Jiao Nianzhi initiated the Ocean Negative Carbon Emissions International Big Science Program. You may wonder what ocean negative carbon emissions mean. Well, scientists know that the ocean absorbs about 1/3 of the carbon dioxide emitted by human activities annually. The process of capturing atmospheric carbon dioxide through physical, chemical, or biological means and storing it long-term in the ocean is called ocean negative carbon emissions. Jiao's international program aims to develop scientific theories and solutions to increase ocean carbon sinks, addressing climate change and working towards carbon neutrality. To date, the program has brought together hundreds of experts from more than 70 institutions across 33 countries and regions. In 2022, this globally collaborative effort was formally adopted into the UN Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development. The UN program, also known as the Ocean Decade, was launched a year ago and lasts until 2030. It serves as a framework for stakeholders worldwide to collaborate and make advances in ocean science. Unlike traditional emission reduction approaches, Jiao Nianzhi chose a new path, returning human-emitted carbon to the ocean through ecological means.
We call it negative emissions to contrast with emissions, which release carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Negative emissions remove carbon dioxide from the air. While reducing emissions is effective, it comes at a cost, especially for developing countries like China, where development remains the first priority.
Enabling the ocean to absorb more carbon dioxide can create more developmental space for humans. But with the ocean already storing about 93% of Earth's carbon dioxide, can it take any more? The answer is yes. Not just because the ocean is vast, but because the microbial carbon pump theory reveals its powerful cycling capacity. According to the theory, marine microbes act as innate carbon movers, keeping surface waters primed to absorb new carbon.
We must try our best to protect nature, using nature-based solutions. These are more readily accepted, so we are very optimistic about the future.
So far, with the inspiration of the microbial carbon pump theory, scientists worldwide have developed a series of solutions to help protect the oceans and make it more efficient in absorbing carbon dioxide. To name just two of them, replacing chemical fertilizers with microalgae-based alternatives, using clean, energy-driven, artificial upwelling in marine aquaculture. Jiao Nianzhi notes that compared to terrestrial ecosystems like forests and grasslands, marine carbon sinks, or blue carbon, offer greater storage capacity and longevity. The ocean's active carbon reservoir is 20 times larger than the land and 50 times larger than the atmosphere. While terrestrial carbon sinks store carbon for decades at most, blue carbon can persist for up to a millennia. For instance, inspired by his microbial carbon pump theory, China's aquaculture zones could become carbon sinks through artificial upwelling. With this new practice, nutrient-rich deep water is pumped to the surface to boost phytoplankton growth, which then contributes to absorbing carbon dioxide. In November 2024, Jiao's proposal for international standards on ocean carbon neutrality passed the International Organization for Standardization with 100% approval, an historic first for marine climate solutions.
For global adoption, standards must be internationally recognized, not unilaterally set.
From China to the world, Jiao has consistently upheld a scientist's responsibility, providing theoretical guidance for global sustainable development. In fact, his bond with the ocean traces back to his childhood.
My first encounter with an octopus stunned me. I'd never seen such a creature. To me, its shape was so strange. I wondered how it lived. My mother said, "This is from the sea. To understand marine life, you must study the ocean."
In 1979, at the age of 16, Jiao Nianzhi left his hometown for Ocean University of China, then called Shandong Ocean College, which is based in the coastal city of Qingdao. Since then, he has never left his beloved field. Reflecting on his journey, Jiao stresses the importance of choosing the research directions that truly inspire dedication.
At one time, I was confused and took many detours in my professional career. My postdoc was when I first set my own path. Before then, others guided me. While mentors mean well, their plans may not align with your calling. Self-chosen paths endure longer. This isn't to negate the knowledge and experience one learns from others. Those are very important, but they can't determine your personal careers. At the end of the day, careers are personal and should be of personal choices.
Now in his 60s, he mentors young scientists while remaining active in research. His approach to nurturing talent is distinctive.
Offer gentle advice, but let them decide. Even if they insist on hitting a wall, let them. When they return, welcome them back and create opportunities for them.
Colleagues and students like Mr. Hu Chun and Ms. Meng Yabing describe him as a teacher who empowers.
He never forces his students to do things. He shares his vision with us and then lets us choose.
However unconventional our ideas, Professor Jiao will always encourage us, saying, "Go ahead, try it."
Under his guidance, China's next generation of oceanographers are poised to keep contributing to global climate solutions and sustainable development.